Hello everybody, this is Nicole. Thank you so much for joining me for a brand new video tutorial. I am excited to share a new project with you. In fact, we're going to make 2 cards today using some of the new products from Altenew's 2018 April release. We are starting with a background stem set called Gradient Stripe Stem Set. I adhere the background piece of the stem set onto my MISTI, and we're going to go ahead and prep the stem set first. This is a brand new, very large and solid image stem set. Whenever you get a brand new stamp, you will notice that there are some shine onto the stamp of the surface of the stamp set. This is because when it's going through the manufacturing process, it has a little bit of residue on it. So while some stems don't really have much issues giving you a nice coverage right away, large solid images like this can give you a blotchy impressions like the one that you see on my left. That was my first try with the stamp set. So I'm just prepping my surface of the stamp using the white eraser. You can get this any stationery store around you. And I just went over the whole area of the surface of the stamp set and prep it. This is going to give you a surface where the stamp can hold on to the ink much better. So I'm going over the area once again with my ink, and you will notice that my stamp impression is significantly better. This is a great way to make sure your stamp is seasoned. You just need to give a little bit of TLC before you work on your project. Okay, so now the stamp is ready. We are going to go ahead and prepare our first project. I have my Neenah Solo White cardstock. This is prepared at 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to use a vertical way. So you're going to ink up the stamp set with a color of your choice. I am using Dewdrops this time and inking it up and stamping it by closing the lid of the MISTI tool. I went it twice to make sure we get a good coverage and a solid color. Next time, I'm going to use Aqualicious, which is a second color of the Sweet Dreams color family. And I'm only inking up the portion of the stem set so I can create a nice color transition between the colors. And this is a great way to use your background set and multiple inks that come in a same color family by creating a different shades within one background to give you a nice cool ombre look on your project. So I inked it up twice once again and stamped it twice to get a better coverage. The last color we're going to use is Teal Cave. This is a third color of the family called Sweet Dreams, and we're going to ink it up once again. I'm going to wipe away any areas that I don't want the inks to stay on, and we're going to close the lid, stamp it, and then ink it up once again and stamp it one more time. I stamped each color twice to get a good coverage and a bold and bright colors. You'll notice that on the left side, my surface of MISTI is getting dirty. No problem, we're going to clean that up right away. I'm actually using the mouse pad stem surface that you can purchase separately from My Sweet Petunia or any other crafting store that carry MISTI products. This is a great way because it has a slick surface. I just need to clean up any extra ink that might have gone there, and it's a very solid piece. I love working on this. All right, so now we're going to let the first project dry and just set it aside for a little bit. This time I'm going to use a stamp set from a same new release that Altenew just came out with, and this one's called Watercolor Dot Stem Set. This is also a great background stem set, and as you can see, I prepped the surface by going over each area with my eraser, and we're going to ink up several times to make sure it hold on to the inks better so that it can give us a good coverage when we're actually working on the project. So once again, this is a large solid stamp piece so that I like to use our oval size, the full size ink pad from Altenew. A lot of you love the mini cubes, which is great for storage friendly reasons and also portability. And it's a great way to test out the colors and sample out the colors. But when you're working with large stamps like this, I highly recommend getting the ovals. And I have every products that I'm using in this video listed in below, so make sure to click so that you can check out the full supplies list and you may shop these with a direct link. All right, so now the stamp is ready. We're going to stamp onto the actual piece of my cardstock for the project. This is the same 5 1/4 by 4 Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I went over the stamp twice using the pink pearl ink pad. This is actually a part of our Tea Party stamp set, or a Tea Party oval set, excuse me, from Altenew. This is also a new color they came out with earlier this year. For the second color, I'm going to use Coral Bliss, which is a second shade of the Tea Party family. This color has a really nice soft pink coral colors that are so pretty. So we're going to only stamp a portion of the stamp set, just like I did with the first project. Ink up a couple times and get a nice smooth transition. Look at the left side of the MISTI. Look at how cool and pretty the colors are coming out with, and it's really solid impressions. So now we're going to go on to our third color. It's Heartbeat, which is the third color of the Tea Party family. And I'm just going over it twice and stamping it twice. And in between, I'm blotching it so that I can make sure there are some nice transitions between two colors. All right, so now that is all done, we're going to set that aside for now, and we're going to clean up the stamp set and also the MISTI stamp surface and set my MISTI away. Now, let's go ahead and prepare our focal point. I have the Mega Hello die. This is a great die to dress up your cards or even your layouts or your journals. It's a huge greeting die that is perfect for creating any colors, any cards, when you're wanting a little bold sentiment, or if you just want to clean and simple. And I'm also using the You Are Loved die that also is a part of this release. So after those are all cut, I also use Neenah Solar White cardstock to cut out these. I am going to add some heat embossing. So I'm going over the surface with embossing ink pad, and I adhere the sentiment onto a scrap paper so that I can make sure I have all the areas covered and they don't warp as much when you're going over the surface, because there are some definitely thin lines in this die. So I went over the area with rose gold embossing powder from Altenew, and I'm just melting the embossing powder and heat setting it. I'm actually going over a couple times, so when the first layer is all done, set it aside, and we're going to move on to the second one while the first one is dried. So now this one is You Are Loved. Now I'm going to go over the embossing ink as well, pour over the antique silver embossing powder from Altenew, and we are going to heat set this with a heat tool. Make sure your heat tool is warmed up for about 20 seconds, nice and warm and hot and ready to go, so you can zap it really quick. So I went over the area once again and set this aside so that it's all cooled before we move on to the second layer. So now you can see that I am back to my first greeting with Mega Hello die set, and now I'm going to ink up the area once again with embossing ink. I'm going over the surface with rose gold embossing powder once again and heat set this. This is going to give you a much more dimensional embossed look. So you can certainly do one time, but if you want more dimensions, more thickness to it, you can go over it twice, you can go over it three times, however many times you would like. So I just went it twice. So I did the same thing with You Are Loved die set. Once it was all cooled, ready to go, I went over the area with embossing ink, pour the antique silver embossing powder once again, and heat set it. Now we are going to get things ready to prepare the cards and put everything together. I have a piece of fun foam pad. I'm going to run this over twice, one with each die that we used. So one for Your Love die and one for Mega Hello die. This is going to be a nice raised dimension backing piece for our heat embossed die cuts. So I'm going over the area with a multimedia mat. You can use any liquid adhesive of your choice to attach those to, and I'm going to make sure they are nice and ready to go. Keep in mind that when we heat set the die cut piece, it might have shrunk just a little bit. So when you actually put this together, you will have a little bit of white shadow behind your die cut piece and heat embossed piece. So if that's something that you don't like, you may use a different foam pads, or you may use just foam dots to kind of add a background to it. But I actually don't mind the white shadowy look of the fun foam pads behind these heat embossed die cut greetings. So I just decided to go ahead and adhere this using some of the liquid adhesive and just use the fun foam pad die cut piece as a backer. And this is a really simple way to raise up your die cut sentiments. So since our die cut sentiments was warped quite a bit during the heat embossing process, I'm going to set aside some heavy plastic block on top of it. I'm actually using the multi-platform for my die cutting machine, so that works really perfectly. So I just adhere, I just set it down on top of our die cut piece to kind of get it all flattened out and put some weight on it. In the meantime, I'm preparing my card base. So I cut out the top folding card, and I also cut out the horizontal folding card. They're all A2 size card base. One is just top folding and one is just horizontal. That's the only difference. So for the gradient stripe one, the teal color, I am attaching Your Loved die cut piece, and I attached these die cut greetings using the multimedia mat as well. And I'm going to use the Hello die cut piece onto the watercolor dot. So this is almost done. I just wanted to dress up the card just a little bit with some enamel dots. I mixed a couple of black and white enamel dots for the You Are Loved card, and then for the Hello card I used just white enamel dots. So this is kind of screaming spring and summer for me. I thought it was a great way to kind of create a nice spring and summer theme card. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe button. If you're new to my channel, I hope you subscribe and get to see more of my videos in the future. If you're curious in any products that I use in today's project, please click the link below. There's a full supplies list right below the video button. For close-up photos, giveaway details, more information on today's cards, please go to my website at scrapsandstamps.com. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day.